Lands used by National Land Commission. So, Chair, Honorable Chair, the Land Act 2012, Section 107, allows for compulsory land acquisition to safeguard public interest. The decision by NLC was further guided by the public interest to be served by such acquisition, availability of land, and availability of funds by the acquiring entity, which is the National Intelligence Service, for purpose of the compensation. Number 3, on whether the proposed land for acquisition was mapped out and valued by the National Land Commission, I wish to confirm that the land was duly mapped out with valuation process currently being undertaken as guided by the Land Act. 4th, regarding whether public participation was carried out, which was done in October 2024, the same involved all the stakeholders, including NLC, NIS, NGAOs, local leaders, in assessing the value of the community land. Honorable Chair, the Commission will value the property as
notice to acquire 46,000 hectares. The Gazette notice was out on 25th November 2024. Secondly, Chair, first, I do not agree with.
You have a copy of the Gazette notice because I can see the CS is.
I'm trying to ask it to acquire on behalf of who? NLC on behalf of?
The same agencies. I don't know, the national government acquiring the same piece of land. 4,000 hectares on 25th November 2024.
You have copies of the Gazette?
The Gazette notice is Gazette notice number is 16985. Yes, we have the Gazette notice here. We can table, Chair.
Yes. Yeah. Can you show it to the CS? Yes, show it to the CS.
Secondly, Chair, first I need to register my dissatisfaction with the response from the Cabinet Secretary. It's brief and it does not respond to my statement or to my satisfaction or also to the satisfaction of the people of Samburu. Secondly, this same piece of land was, again, the community donated about 60,000 hectares of land, of the same piece of land, to KDF. The national government wants to acquire 6,000 more in the same piece of land. Thirdly,
so you are saying there was a donation of 60,000 acres?
Yes.
Which the community gave to the government?
This community donated 36,000 hectares to KDF.
36,000 hectares?
Yes. They also donated 60,000 acres for conservation by a conservancy.
Yes.
It's called Lewa Conservancy. This is the same piece of land that the national government wants to compulsorily acquire from the same community. Okay. Thirdly, in the response from the Cabinet Secretary, they said it's no longer tenable for them to continue leasing the land, and we don't know the basis for that. We don't know why, because the national government has been leasing, or the NIS has been leasing this piece of land for quite some time. So I don't know why it's not tenable, considering that this community is pastoral and they keep animals. This community, they want access to resources like pasture and water from Ewasonyiro. Fourthly, our people have never been involved. They have not. He's indicated. The cabinet secretary has just indicated that there was a public participation, and that public participation is just in the books. The people of Samburu were not aware of this public participation. Lastly, the community is happy to work with the national government to share these resources. The community is also ready to lease this land, to continue leasing this land. But we don't know the reasons why the national government want to buy or want to acquire this land. And even as he has informed the committee that the valuation of this land was undertaken, I'm sure the value they are giving the community is not commensurate with the amount of land they want to acquire. So first, I don't know, Chair, whether you invited NLC. NLC should have been with us here, because as you can see, the minister is not aware that there is another new Gazette notice to acquire the same piece of land. So I'm not sure whether NLC was invited to be with us in this meeting.
It was invited, but they sent an apology.
So we want to inform the cabinet secretary that our community, or the community, the Warsaw community, is willing to continue leasing this land. And they are not willing to give them or give the national government. I know you can say, or we can say, that the national government is following the law by compulsorily acquire this land. We know they are following law, but we are saying as people that this is a land that has been taken by KDF, 36,000 hectares, 60,000 acres for conservation, another 6,000 for NIS. This land is being depleted without considering the needs of this community. Thank you, Chair.
Maybe Senator Lelego could clarify the three portions that one has been given to the NIS, the other one to the KDF, and the Lewa Conservancy. Are they in the same area, or maybe different locations? Because some 60,000 I can see they can run maybe from here to JKIA, and maybe.
Chair, this is the same Warsaw. This is the same LR number, Samburu East, Warsaw /1 in Samburu County. This is the same community land.
Yes, community land, but maybe it could extend to different areas, so that NIS is on this side, KDF is on this side, Leva maybe is on the other side.
Yes, but where the NIS want to take, they want to take land that is adjacent to Ewasonyiro, where animals will not even have access to water or even to pasture. So that is the land they want to take.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
The Chair, of course, even when we were responding to this question, I really was wondering whether we are the competent ministry to come and respond to this question. Except to just highlight why we need the land, the whole issue about the process of acquisition and so forth is a land issue. You know, as we all know, the Constitution dictates that all land acquired on behalf of Government of Kenya is done by National Land Commission, which is the most competent entity through the Lands Ministry to respond to all these questions of what is compulsory acquisition, why conduit for other intent, and so forth. We are the beneficiary. Granted, the ministry will be beneficiary of the acquisition. But in terms of questions of process and whether public participation has been done, whether all these processes are National Land Commission process. So I have provided the information to the best of we provided the best of our ability, but in defending the process and following all through the legal processes is National Land Commission that is constitutionally mandated to carry out this exercise on behalf of the security agencies. As Senator has already captured, the part of KDF, which is about 36,000 acres, is already, KDF have it as, they own it, they are not leasing. Yeah, I think already the community sold that one to KDF some time back. So I thought that is to the best of our ability. The information that we were given is to that effect. But the people to confirm is both KDF and NLC. And so I think because of the investment that is there, the thinking within the National Intelligence Service is that it was important to own this land. It will be cost effective if you own it and leasing it for a short period of time, considering the amount of investment that you've put in the land. But as I said, the process is now following this is legal. But these questions that are being raised about whether the process has been followed well and so forth can fully be interrogated if NLC was sitting here, who are the lead agency.
Yes, I think the issue that Senator Lego raised was that the land which is being acquired for NIS is at the river bank of the Iwasonyiro, where they take their cattle to graze and so on and so forth. And 9,000 acres, which have been taken, 6,000, will be out of bounds now for their people to graze their animals. Maybe can they?
I think the best, as I was saying, all these issues come out during you see, because compulsory acquisition is gazetted, objections are allowed. So it's NLC to explain to us where the objections are, where the public participation has reached. Because this is a whole process that goes, the aggrieved parties can go to court, the court process can confirm or deny. So there is a long journey by law itself, by the Constitution and the law on compulsory acquisition. And as I said, we have expressed our desire to acquire the 6,000 acres because of the nature of the investment in the security sector and why it is necessary to have a projection of long term when you are making that kind of investment, because then you are sure that, you know, if lease period of 10 years and you are investing something that is meant for 50 or 100 years, the need is there for the National Intelligence Service to acquire the land. As to whether it is compulsory acquisition is the right method, and if that compulsory acquisition is viable, that is a process guided by the National Land Commission, rightfully so, under the Constitution. And the questions of justification then would come through the National Land Commission, including where the process is at the moment, including whether objections have been raised by the community, whether those objections have been registered, public participation done, whether there is a court process and so forth.
Yes, Senator Murango.
Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, mimi nitasema niko na shida kidogo kwa sababu waziri ameacha kazi zote na akakuja hapa siku ya leo kujibu maswali. Lakini taasisi ya NLC wenyewe hakutuma hata mtu hapa. Kwa hivyo sasa nikusema sisi hapa ni makaragosi na wanasesere kwa sababu maswala mengi, taarifa 4 zinahitaji mchango kutoka kwa NLC. Na ukiangalia venye waziri anasema maswali yenye anajibu pia anaangazia NLC wanafaa kuwapa kama taasisi. Kwa sababu pia kama ni masuala ya KDF pia tunajua pia kuna wizara ya ulinzi ambao wanafaa kuja hapa. Lakini wenye wanajua wenye walifuata na kuhakikisha kwamba mashamba imepatikana ni taasisi ya NLC ambao wanja kuja hapa siku ya leo. Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, nadhani tunafaa pia tutoe tahadhari na tuwasute NLC. Kwa sababu ungekuwa hapa leo na najua sio kusema ana kazi nyingi sana kushinda waziri ambao amekuja hapa na timu kubwa sana. Sasa tunauliza maswali, tunaenda mduara, tunarudi pale pale bila majibu. Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, mimi ningesema wapewe siku zingine ambazo si nyingi ili tuweze kumaliza na kutathmini mambo yote kwa kumalizia. Lakini kwa sasa naona tutazunguka, tutarudi bando kwa NLC ambao siku ya leo amekataa kuja mbele ya kamati. Asante.
Asante Senator Murango.
Chair,
Yes.
what we are saying, this community is against government acquiring their land. Secondly, we are saying that their land is being depleted by KDF and now by NLC and not NLC and by NIS and now and by other agencies like the conservation agencies like the Lewa Conservancies. This land is, they are not considering the needs of this community. So we are willing, the community is willing to lease this land. I don't know why government is opposed to willing to leasing land, because we know there are also leases that can go up to 100 years. And this community is also willing to lease this community, this land for as long time as 50 years as they wish.
I'm saying I am not in a position to tell the committee what the community told the NLC and where that process is. I am not the competent authority to do so because that process of compulsory acquisition is not one of what the objections raised by Senator Lelegwe can rightly be raised before the NLC during the compulsory acquisition process. And the process can fail if an alternative is provided, like the Senator said, and that alternative is agreeable to the parties and also to the court, because those processes end up getting to situations of confirmation. So maybe during the hearing, a proposal like that, say, lease for 99 years, if it is stable, maybe that is more viable than the 10-year lease, and maybe it is better than outright purchase. But also 99-year lease is basically an outright purchase. If it is a leasehold, I don't know if the land is leasehold or community land, could be freehold. I think it's freehold. So it's freehold. So if the lease period is long enough to convince the security agencies that this is enough period to invest in, I am sure that process through NLC will interrogate the concerns.
But considering the resource constraints that the government is currently experiencing, do you think that the government can maybe make use of the, is it 60,000 given to the 6,000 given to the Kenya Defence Forces? 36,000. Yeah, 36,000 to KDF.
Let me insist here that I cannot, for example, speak on behalf of KDF's land and say, oh yeah, let's go and use KDF, let's not use this one. All this process is ongoing. Maybe I am not, I cannot question why the senators engage in the process, but maybe the right thing is to say, let the process, the compulsory acquisition process go on. If they fail to meet the required threshold, then a petition comes back to the committee. But again, the person to say so will only be NLC, who would be here to tell us we have reached here, because all these objections being raised can be raised before the NLC process.
I think maybe I allow Senator Nyutu to come on record.
Thank you, Chair. John Nyutu is my name, Senator from Murang'a and a member of this committee.
Yes, you have any other issues, Senator Legwe? Yes, Wakili. Muna, do you have any issue from the response by the CS?
Thank you, Chair.
Njoo ulizi hapa.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lenakio Thomas. I wear two hats. Number one, I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and for purpose of these proceedings, I'm also a member of Losesia Community Land. Thank you, Bwana CS, for the comprehensive report. Chair, just so that we don't blur the lines here, the Losesia Community Land, there is one title to it. In this particular title, it is 110,000 hectares, 407. 110, 407. So sometime in 2019, the Kenya Defense Forces then approached the community with a view to having a section of that community land being used as a military training area. And to that effect, there was a restriction on that particular title, to which what the CS has clearly indicated is 36 hectares being used as a military training area. Over and above that, in the same community, a total of 60,000 acres has been allocated for conservation. That is where we have the Serra Wildlife Conservancy as a sanctuary. The reason and the purpose as to why we're here today, at 25th of March 2024, the National Land Commission published an intention to compulsorily acquire a section national administration. I want to believe the statement by the CS covered that particular Gazette notice, the one of 25th of March 2025. Fast forward to 25th of November 2024, the National Land Commission again published another Gazette notice. This time, it was a corrigendum and an inquiry, indicating that they want to revise the acreage from 2,183 acres to 4,675 hectares. You can do the maths. Hectares, yes. That is a substantial increase in the land acreage. We sought clarification from the National Land Commission. There was an objection to that effect. There has been no response from the National Land Commission. Our efforts to actually investigate and look at the maps and the plans have hit a dead end. To that extent, we feel as a community that in as much as the Cabinet Secretary has clearly indicated that that land, the process of compulsorily acquiring that land, and I agree with the CS, that is a province to which the National Land Commission will be able to deal with. But having said that, and honorable members of the committee, you'll agree with me that there is public participation in books and public participation in action. And this community where I come from and where the honorable senator comes from is a community that boasts of close to 85% illiteracy levels. They do not know what is happening to their land. And the particular area that where the National Land Commission intends to acquire on behalf of the National Intelligence Service is a buffer zone. That is where our community and communities from Isiolo, Marsabit, Laikipia County, during the dry season, they converge at Losesia area. And there is a permanent structure which has been erected there by the National Intelligence Service. And what they're doing is, quote unquote, business related. So we would also want this particular committee to interrogate the purpose as to why that particular piece of land is being compulsorily acquired. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. I think, Waziri, you have nothing to respond there. Thank you.
I'm impressed, of course, by the council. Every time I see younger people who are taking up responsibility on behalf of community, I get very much impressed. And so I still believe that despite the literacy...
Sorry.
Put off that one. Despite the challenges of the literacy and all that, at least they have Senator Lelegwe and they have Council Thomas here. And so I'm sure, with the services of a lawyer, the other process within the NLC can still be followed, maybe with the oversight of the committee as to how far it has gone and so forth. Then it can be arrested at its rightful time, as provided by law, because it has to be confirmed. The acquisition has to be confirmed at the far end. There is a length legal process for acquisition. And I think that I don't think that there is anything. If that public participation does not meet the necessary threshold, there are legal processes for arresting this issue. I think that if NLC was here, they would competently tell us how far they are, and perhaps they would be taken also to task as to whether they did quality, not just quantity, but quality public participation. And as a government, as a country, we're not interested in disenfranchising our local communities. And we must be very proud that, this is pastoralist areas who have also preserved land, unlike other parts of the country where we come from, and they must not suffer the consequences of their diligence to preserve land.
Thank you. Yes.
Chair, sorry to come back. I forgot one thing. The Honorable Cabinet Secretary mentioned that as a government, they are willing to exploit avenues of maybe taking the land for 99 years. And the good thing is that CS is a lawyer, is an advocate, and CS, you would be aware that there is something called intergenerational equity and intragenerational equity. We hold this land not for our own benefit, but also for benefit of generations to come. So the 99 years, Senator Lelegwe may not be there, I may not be there, but the Samburu people will still be there. Thank you.
That's
I thought he's saying which is a better suggestion, because if you acquire longer, maybe then when the time falls, it can revert back to the community or you process. So maybe it's a conversation during the hearing processes. I think it's a suggestion that can be put on the table to say lengthen the lease period for purpose of future review by the community. And I agree with him that it's an option. If it is viable, then as I say, nothing is cast that it must go this way. This is a legal process. The longer, the better, because of the level of investment that the ministry wants to put in there through the National Intelligence Service. And secondly, is that if there are things to do with corridors or for movement of animals, for domestic use, and so forth, those issues also should be incorporated in the conversation, including which side of the land should be acquired and whether all of it, the 4,000 is required or it can be reviewed. All that conversation, I think, in a honesty and open process, are things that are subject to consultation and review.
Thank you. And I think the goodwill of the community also, having donated some land to the government, be it the KDF or the Conservancy, should also be taken into account, that they are willing to cooperate with the government, so that they can be given very favorable terms for that matter. I think, Dr. Lelegwe, we are through with your answer. We shall engage the National Land Commission because the process seems to be domiciled in their docket, and therefore they are the right people to come and answer those questions of public participation and so on and so forth.
I agree, Chair, but I don't know if it's possible that when we engage with the NLC, the Cabinet Secretary or the Ministry will be available because NLC is acquiring this land on their behalf. So I don't know if they will be here.
I promise one of our officers, we can send one of the officers to be present to take note.
Okay.
But we have, from our side, we've answered comprehensively.
And Chair, the committee needs to take note of NLC refusal to appear or to respond to this committee, because this statement was, I don't know the date, but in 2024.
September 2024. I think.
And they have never responded to this committee, and they've been asking for postponement every other time the committee wants to consider this statement. So maybe you can summon the chair NLC
Okay.
for this purpose.
Yes, your statement was made on 24th of April last year. So we'll take it up with the National Land Commission. Thank you. Mashamba P. CS, you have two other...
Because, Chair, they are proceeding with the acquisition. So the sooner we get NLC here and the Minister for Lands, the better for the people of Samburu. Yeah.
There were two other responses that you have brought. One of Msambweni community land at Voi, and the other one for compensation of frozen river banks in Nyandarua.
Yes.
The senators who asked those questions are not here this morning. They're engaged elsewhere. We shall share with them the responses that you have made, and if they have any supplementary questions, we shall be able to bring them to our attention.
Thank you. I think, Mr. Chair, their absence does not mean we have not discharged our part of
Yes.
responsibility we have in writing. And should they need other clarification, we will send in writing. And Mr. Chair, hopefully then we will not be asked to come here at the convenience of the members.
No.
Yeah.
Normally, ideally, is that when we receive the responses, unless maybe the member is not satisfied with the response, we'll ask the CS to attend personally. But whenever the response is adequate, we normally end the matter there. We thank you for coming this morning, and we look forward to working with your ministry to resolve some of these land issues and evictions that have been affecting members of the public. Thank you very much, and we are kindly releasing you.
Thank you.
Thank you.